And we are live. Hello, everyone. I haven't finished drawing our new little icons yet, so you have to forgive me for that. But you get to see me draw live now. Isn't that wonderful? But while I draw, I can't really talk. So, Luke, Melting Man, how was your 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm alright. I haven't been fried to death after the brutal heat wave us Brits got on Monday and Tuesday, where we had to endure 40 degrees of heat that we are not completely ready for. I mean, it was actually horrible on Tuesday. I mean, it was like hot weather just blasting everywhere, and like I had to constantly drink all day. I had to even take my shirt off at one point. But on the way home, I went into our local co-op and bought a huge bottle of chocolate milk, and I just downed it all on the way home.
So your female co-workers were very happy with you then?
Sadly, I was in a workplace that was mostly male co-workers.
Were they happy about you?
Yes, they were happy about me that I survived. Actually, some of them just couldn't tolerate the heat and went home.
Ooh, that's not very manly.
No.
Yeah,
Me and one other are probably the only one surviving standing in my area.
Ooh, my.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot over here too, with lots of heat, lots of humidity. Like right now over here in Illinois, it's like 97 degrees today.
That's
So,
more
yeah,
than all
very
40
hot.
degrees. But yeah, you're using a different meter.
Yeah, different meter, whatnot.
All right. I can't take the heat. I kind of like the heat. Prefer heat over cold anyway. That's why I draw Luke all exhausted from the heat and me just cool as a cat.
Yeah, being all shirtless, showing off that sexy floof.
Fluffy Luke, yes. All right, Ewan is missing today. He has to work extra. And the captain is feeling under the weather, so I hope he'll feel better next time. So we'll have to do without them. Which just as well. Guess we have the classic Dissected team or that Melting Man ruining it.
Yeah, just me going out like, oh, blah, 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 Archie Sonic, blah, blah, blah.
And yet we're still talking about... Yeah, what's that? Sorry, Luke? Yeah.
No, I was just mimicking those teacher voices in Charlie Brown.
Oh, yeah.
right.
They're like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." Yeah, that sort of thing.
There you go, Melting Man. If next time you're sick or can't join us, just record you going. We'll just put that in the background. No one will notice you're missing.
Or you just use that that one sound clip from that past stream where I'm just like, bleh. Yeah.
We're so nice for each other. Yeah. Oh, well. But yeah, we're not going to talk about Fleetway because Ewan really wanted to talk about the next issue because that's apparently the very first one he saw. So instead, Melting Man gave us another chapter of the manga Spin and Dash, which is summer themed, so very appropriate. And of course, Sonic X is also about, well, it's about the sun, even though it takes place in winter, so it's still kind of relevant, I guess. So, hey,
And also it has Sonic committing global terrorism and beating up homeless people.
And immigrant problems. It's a very social triple kinds of episode, so it's getting very interesting. But yeah, that's for later. For now, still keep making small talk. I'm still drawing, sorry. And do you guys have more random stuff you want to talk about?
Well, actually, I have do some talk. Well, this is just a quick plug, but recently just finished posting the new episode to my Archie Sonic character file series, where I covered the Archie Sonic version of Eggman Nega, and that's kind of interesting because he was pretty much like one of those small handful of characters that was not really allowed to appear in the comics for some unknown reason, so his time was very limited. So with that episode, it's a little different than how I usually do it. It's just, oh, history of this character, then my personal thoughts. So in that video, it was like half history lesson, half theorizing on why the character is usually like neglected and abandoned by Sega in most media.
All right, cool. Luke, you're working on any projects or just happy to survive?
Well, for the last couple of months, I've been secretly working on a Doctor Who related video where I did some voluntary work for Unit, where they sent me through a time fracture. It's actually an immersive theatre experience, I mean, it's all finished, but I didn't get the chance to render it and upload it in time. But I'm going to try and get it out tomorrow.
Ooh, tomorrow, so it's really soon. That's nice.
I mean, I got the title card for it. If I could show it.
Sure, but I can't put it on screen yet. I'm still drawing. But send it to me, and I'll put it on later.
Yeah, just let me take a chance to find it. Here we go.
All right, I'll put it on screen in a moment. Have to finish Luke's shading first.
Alright.
Put extra effort in me and Luke, and no effort in Melting Man. We respect
But he's
you
melted.
so much.
Yeah. Well, let's just say my trash can is well air conditioned.
There you go.
You know, it got me thinking. I wonder if Oscar the Grouch's trash can is air conditioned during hot days.
Doesn't he have a whole fantasy world in his trash can or something?
Oh yeah, because it's dimensionally transcended, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that Welcome to Grouch Land thing. It's like their version of like the TARDIS. Oh, bigger on the inside. Yeah.
Yes. Oscar is a Time Lord.
I knew it.
So yeah, first the Doctor, then Santa Claus, and now Oscar.
Yes.
Like, what's with the style of clothes that Luke's wearing? Is that supposed to be like based off of a bandit character or something? Kind of reminds me of a Aladdin character or something.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, the hat is based on what Captain Haddock was wearing in the desert, and the pants is just random.
Oh, a handkerchief and
Yeah.
in Crab with the Golden Claws.
Exactly. Oh, you know your Tintin.
Yeah, when he and Tintin met these terrorists or something, he just went nuts. It's like, you blasted gallywags! Just ran after them.
Classic.
It almost kind of looks like you just got done filming a porno in that. Yeah, a desert-themed porno.
Get your mind out of the gutter. We're low enough as it is.
Lawrence of Arabia, indeed.
Lots of Arabia and lots of nights.
Yep.
There you go. But yeah, so tomorrow Luke has a new video, so if that's done, I'll put the link in our description of this video for those who are watching this later.
Yeah, it should be coming out tomorrow.
All right. Well, looking forward to that. Yeah, Melting Man, when is your next video? Tomorrow too?
Well, I just got done posting a video like 2 days ago, so I don't know what I'll be posting. It might be like more audio clips from American McGee's Grimm, or maybe next episode of RG Sonic Character Files, because I know the next one I'm going to do is Clove and Cassie. I mentioned them in a past stream, so yeah, they're characters from the new canon that are some of the more tragic characters from that timeline, but I'll get more into that once I get the episode running.
Alright. Yeah, isn't it fun if you just finished the video and just still exhausted and I was already, when is the next video? Make this next! Back to work, slave!
Yeah, I remember you talked about that in the Things Dissected episode.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting more question. What YouTubers do you watch when you're not animating? I guess that's for me. Recently I've been watching a lot of videos about city planning, weirdly enough. I found it kind of interesting how roads work and all that. Because I'm kind of building a lot of cities in Sonic Road Blast 2 myself, so I was kind of looking into that. Yeah, what other YouTubers? I don't know, just random, whatever's interesting. The problem with a lot of YouTubers with clickbait is you see clickbait and it's interesting. And then you watch the video and it's super basic. And it never really go deep enough as it is because they keep...
Yeah, that happened to me because I was looking at a recommended video where I saw a Star Wars rated video saying, "Oh, this shows how Rise of Skywalker was really rushed." And it was just one shot of at the end of Rise of Skywalker where a Star Destroyer crashed towards, went through Cloud City. It's like, oh, Star Destroyers are not supposed to be that big, and it shows it's really rushed. I'm like, okay.
It's so frustrating, isn't it? Like they only have like 2 minutes worth of video to make, but then they
I also hate it at the beginning where instead of getting to the point like, oh, but first let me talk about this sponsor, or oh, first don't forget to like and subscribe. But just get to the bloody point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, I had something that happened to me like that. Like, I was kind of curious, like, oh, Tiny Kong, character from like the Mario and DK games, and yet after Mario Super Slugger, she's gone completely MIA. So I saw this video titled like, oh, what's the deal with Tiny? And like, oh, maybe this will like explain why she's disappeared. And it really didn't. It didn't come out what I expected. Instead, it was just this random guy talking like, oh, Tiny, this and that, but oh, Dixie Kong's better, da da da. So in the end, the video just felt like this guy was, instead of talking about the history of Tiny Kong, he was just constantly simping over Dixie Kong.
Oh well, yeah. Well, you got YouTubers in all shapes and forms. Yeah, I guess the problem is the format. I mean, if you want to be a successful YouTuber and make money out of it, you have to follow a certain like pattern. You have to have the exact like time, like a catchy title, and then you have to have your sponsor, and then you have to lead your audience on. And when you watch a lot of YouTubers, you start feeling that pattern, and then it becomes very irritating. But anyway, YouTubers I do enjoy following and watch a lot lately is the Tim Traveler. He's just making like trivial videos about Europe and all that, and traveling the world and seeing interesting stuff. I like Lindsay Ellis a lot, even though she's kind of off right now, I think. She had trouble. I like The Critical Drinker a lot. I listen to him a lot. Those are a couple, and probably more, but I don't want to talk too much about it, I guess. Luke, Melting Man, you have any YouTubers you want to recommend? Now we're talking about it anyway.
I like watching Only Plays. I mean, even though they'd hardly ever play video games, I just hear in their random dialogue where they just talk about random stuff and making funny noises. I mean, they've recently been using this AI app called Novel AI, and they just made these hilarious stories that I just couldn't stop laughing at.
I see a lot of animations from him coming along.
Oh yeah, because they're really good. Like Oni, Zach, and all them. They're pretty hilarious.
Sure. Melting Man, you want to recommend anyone? Failures or something, or someone to talk about obscure stuff?
Well, let's see, animation stuff.
Just a random example.
Well, I guess like with animation, I'm kind of more watching a lot of random Gmod and Source Filmmaker animations. So the one that I'm usually subscribed to the most is Dr. Lalv. He's a guy that does a lot of crazy, wacky Gmod stuff with the Team Fortress 2 characters, like his today we're going to talk about this. And like the main series I'm more familiar with is this whole deal, like, he talks about like the descriptions of the certain class members, their abilities, their weaknesses, and it's just really crazy and off the walls. And I guess that's why I love like Dr. Lal's videos and just wacky Gmod videos in general. They're just like really fast paced with like random like joke this and yeah.
Dr. Lal.
Good stuff.
All right. Keep it in mind. Alrighty. Yeah, and I watch the G reviews a lot, and I listen to what was the other one? Oh, yeah, Great Clement still. But yeah, let's not go on too deep about that. Shall we go on to Sonic X? I think we had enough small talk now.
Alright.
So, who wants to do the synopsis for the Team Chaotix episode? Me? Alrighty.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it starts with Big the Cat, who suddenly sees balls coming out of the air. I thought it was the Space Colony Ark at first, but apparently it's different. It's other citizens from Mobius crashing down on Earth, literally, even right into a house, funny enough. Anyway, apparently most of them are flickies, which kind of confused me, because I never really thought as flickies as the actual Anthro characters, but there they are. So the flickies make a random cameo. I think it's the only appearance they make in the whole show. But yeah, Chris is all depressed about it, because more characters that will steal his screen time, probably. Poor Chris. Anyway, Roots and Knuckles are having a weird conversation on a rooftop, because they think they have to move. Because this episode's suddenly like bringing up a plot point, all the Anthros have to move away from Earth, or I don't know, this hasn't really properly been set up. Although this scene is kind of funny, because Rouge is kind of implying she wants to have sex with Knuckles. In the Japanese version, at least. Of course, the American version has a weaker version of that.
Yeah, the English dub is a little more toned down.
Double entry stuff, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Chris is all depressed because he might have to say goodbye to Sonic, which, again, I'm kind of confused where this is coming from, because this hasn't really been established why this suddenly is happening. Anyway, yeah, Team Chaotix, they finally crash down on Earth and make an appearance. And this episode is an obsession with giving Vector a lot of creepy close-ups, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, so the Chaotix are hanging around the office. They sent Charmy to do some research on retcon. Sorry, I don't know the word, but doing research where they crash land and what's going on. In the American version, he has like a newspaper, which Vector starts reading, and they get flashbacks for the other episodes to catch up what's happening. In the Japanese version, they have a completely different side plot where Charmy instead gets a DVD of Sonic X itself. So your typical fourth wall shenanigans, which then leads to a funny sequence where they don't know how to play DVD, and SPO actually has to steal a DVD player from a store. So probably another reason why they took this out of the American version. We don't want our heroes to be stealing stuff.
Yeah, don't want stealing stuff. Although he does actually leave a note behind saying like, "Oh, sorry, I will return this." And unless you're watching the Hulu version, because there they removed the Japanese text, so now it's just a blank piece of paper on the shelves.
So it's just to screw you guys. add your own text there. But yeah, then the Chaotix finally get their dramatic introduction where they all can show off, which is especially really out of character for Espio, who's like all cool about himself. Although I love a quick fourth wall joke where Charmy gets interrupted saying his line, but he does get his back information in like those Japanese commercial side bits, but he looks all freaked out as if he's still reacting to him being cut off. I thought it was like a kind of neat fourth wall joke. Anyway, Espio is only like all ridiculously cocky and over the top, which I kind of find funny because I'm not used to him being like that. Anyway, we get a quick shot back to the president. They still like talking about the Anthros, and we again get established the plot that all the Anthros have to move somehow for some reason. Also, Jeremy, the president's aide, is randomly back in this shot, even though the next episode he's homeless again, so I assume this is a continuity mistake. Whatever. Anyway, we finally go to the big question, or the big plot hole everyone's always bringing up about Sonic Adventure 2, the blown up moon. What happened with half the moon? Well, Robotnik gives our answer here. He feels regret and remorse, and he promises to fix the moon, so it's almost like a follow-up to Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Colors to a degree, where he's all remorseful and all that, and doing space stuff. But yeah, Cream makes a weird reference to Christmas, which at first I was kind of confused because I didn't know they had Christmas yet, although the next episode they say it's New Year, so I guess they had Christmas even though we haven't seen it. Oh, I think one of the Archie comics had a Christmas episode, didn't it? Melting Man?
There was a Christmas Carol themed story they did like in the very early days, but that was just more of a dream story, yeah.
Ah, never mind. But yeah, so whatever. Anyway, the Chaotix is still just screwing around. There's like a weird fourth wall joke where he's acting like he's Detective Conan and then turned into Columbus. All kinds of references because that's funny.
Then of course he does that Detective Conan impersonation. Yeah.
I was wondering why he put glasses on. I thought he was trying to be smart.
Yeah, if you don't know Detective Conan, that part must be really confusing. Yeah, but he really says all his catchphrases.
Yeah. Yeah, because like in the English dub, they changed to more generic stuff. So like when he puts on the glasses, he does like, "Oh, it's elementary, my dear SBO," or something like
Sherlock
that.
Holmes, yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, Detective Conan is partly supposed to be a homage to Sherlock Holmes, so it's not that far off, I suppose, but oh well. But yeah, it is kind of funny when you say, "Oh, I have the appearance of a crocodile," and the others are just kind of mocking that statement. Yeah, obviously you are a crocodile. Anyway, yeah, so then we finally get to the actual plot of this episode, because all of this before, what I said before, is just a bunch of random jokes and like setups, but we finally actually get to the plot. Apparently the Chaotix have been hired to get Cream back, so they're starting to spy on Chris Home. They get intimidated by the angry maid. Espio tries to sneak in invisible, but Amy accidentally punches him because Amy loves just smashing a hammer into open windows. Wacky Amy. Anyway, we get another random scene where Robotnik's suddenly trying to be friendly with Sonic and also starts talking about them having to move away. Like, they're really... It's so confusing, this episode. They put so much emphasis on... They have to leave without actually putting a reason why yet. But yeah, I guess we'll just discuss that later. But I'm really kind of confused how they're setting this up. Anyway, back to the actual plot of the episode. The Chaotix basically just give up trying to sneak in and start just beating everyone up. Until, of course, Vanilla and Sonic finally show up. And Cream gets reunited with her mother, and it's all cute and adorable. And Sonic is angry at Vector because he said Sonic is a kidnapper. And Espio is bleeding out, dying outside, and nobody cares at the end. So, Luke, what's your opinion about this episode?
I do like the fourth wall breaking by Team Chaotix and how hilarious that to catch up on what was been happening on Earth, they decided to go and borrow a DVD player so they could watch Sonic X whilst they're in Sonic X.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And I also thought it'd be funny if they somehow got these human DVDs there, and Vector was like, "Okay, let's see what's going on here. Busty Babe's gone wild. Backdoor bitches 4? What? Big black."
Oh yeah, and then with the DVD and Charlie's like reading of like, oh wow, there's bonus features like Knuckles in a sexy swimsuit on this island. It's like, hey, don't show that. And then after they get done playing the clip show, then you hear Knuckles on the screens like, hey, it's Knuckles on South Island or whatever, and Vector and Espio get pissed off like, hey, don't show that.
Yeah, back in the time with DVDs, where I think I can funny if they actually introduced their Chaotix in the Sonic movie universe, and to catch up on what was going on, they had to decide to watch the Sonic 2 movies that somehow exist in universe on DVD, or when the movie or comes out on DVD, they appear in the features or something, or promoting it.
It's got to be full-blown Spaceballs that way.
Yeah, and also got me thinking, if they could actually in the movie verse, they would probably like fourth wall breaking in a kind of way, and who might actually play them, like some kind of kind of comedians working off against each other.
Tom Cruise, like Austin Powers.
I keep thinking Chris Pratt because, the meme, how Chris Pratt is in everything these days.
Yeah.
Actually, I hope the movies never break the fourth wall. I'm not a big fan of fourth wall. Although I have to admit, in this episode, it was funny, so I'll give this episode a pass. Sorry, Melting Man, what were you saying?
Well, so the Chaotix trying to incorporate them in the movies. Yeah, that might be interesting if they tried to do that with Sonic.
I can't imagine a stinger where Wade, the cop, is interviewing some new detectives, and we cut to the Chaotix conversation among themselves, and he's having difficulty doing the interview questions. Instead of doing the actual interview questions, they're just rambling on about something, and then Wade gives in and says, "Okay, fine, you're hired."
But yeah, who knows if the Chaotix will be in the movie? At least we know that they had a cameo in the prequel comic. Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, Ellie Mola tells me off because I said that the Flickies never showed up, and he said, well, the Flicky Amy had in the Sonic Adventure adaptation showed up.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I forgot about that. Then again, at that point, they didn't really establish if Flickies came from Mobius. I thought that was just how they draw birds. So I didn't really pay attention to that. But yeah,
what I noticed, the Flickies, they're kind of in the style seen in Sonic 3D Blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the ones in this episode, they're modeled off the ones from 3D Blast, while the one in Adventure are just kind of this plain blue, brown, and pink birds. Yeah, that's what the family is.
Yeah, it's always been kind of confusing to me where they kind of belong. They're more advanced than animals, but they're below anthros. So where are they on the evolutionary branch? you have brainless animals, then you have the humans on top of the hierarchy, I guess.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing that'll probably make Charles Darwin's head melt.
Probably.
Yeah. And I imagine if you try asking Azuka about this, he'll just say something real stupid like, oh, these Flickies only exist in the classic Sonic universe, or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, because they always treat it as if they're equal to the Sonic Anthro character, even though they don't look like that, and they don't talk. Of course, even Sonic Fleetway does this, well, although they do talk there. But I never really liked the idea that they're actually citizens just like Sonic and Friends. I preferred the way how they did it with Sonic CTM, where they actually upgrade them also to Anthro shape.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. Oh well.
Well, at least there's one thing that this episode does well is explaining how the moon is being fixed or whatnot, because it's definitely better than Takashi Iizuka's excuse. The whole oh, it's facing the clean side the whole time. Whatever.
Yeah, he probably doesn't really care. Yeah.
I was quite noticed how Eggman managed to terraform it so quickly, because it was kind of something out of Transformers. Suddenly becomes half Cybertron, and it makes me think if Eggman has the Allspark or something. And also the way it looks, it kind of resembles the Sonic equivalent of the Death Egg.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe this is the Death Egg. Yeah. It's also kind of funny how he builds this thing in 5 seconds, and then the next episode he's like, "Oh, to fix it, I need 6 months." It's okay. But yeah, that's for next episode, I guess.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting different themes with how like the English and Japanese versions of it. Like the whole deal with Sonic and Robotnik just having like a casual chat. Like in the English dub, that's all just about Robotnik like convincing Sonic, like, "Oh, I've changed, Sonic. You know, goodbye evil schemes, hello shuffleboard," or whatnot. But in the Japanese version, they play up this whole theme about how like, "Oh, you know, Sonic, we can't stay here forever," and his whole like plan about fixing the moon was that he just wanted to amend the damage that he brought to this world before he eventually ends up leaving. And he tries to convince Sonic, like, "You know, you can't stay here forever." So it's kind of weird. They're kind of like really playing that up in the Japanese version when it's largely ignored in the English dub.
Yeah, especially since it's confusing. Sorry, we suddenly got a question again from the chat. Chat is active today. Question: there was this animation of yours where Sonic.X was the main villain and was trying to chase Eggman down with Kund because, as we know, he's faster than Sonic. Which one was? I think you're confusing me with someone else. I never made a cartoon with Sonic X.
Yeah, I don't remember that cartoon.
So
Yeah, I
you
don't
must
recall
have
you
confused
doing.
me with someone else. Sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah, I recall you talking about stuff related to Sonic EXE, but no, I don't recall you making anything related to that.
Not because of anything against it, but I never had inspiration yet. Maybe it's Mugi Mikey or something. I don't know, but sorry, can't help you. Holy Cross 98. But yeah, back to Sonic X. Yeah, they really like starting to focus on this plot that the animals have to move, so it starts becoming almost like social commentary on illegal immigrants or something. But the thing is, there's no tension or problem really because they haven't. I know in later episodes it gets established that their portal is closing or something, or eventually there will be a time limit. But at this point, it hasn't been established yet, so now it kind of comes out of nowhere. Also, the humans have problems with them, but why? I mean, most of them just live with Chris. And so they aren't really causing trouble. So why do you care that a bunch of aliens live at Chris? It doesn't really impact the rest of the world. And even the characters who are out in the wild, like Big the Cat and Knuckles, I mean, who cares? In fact, every single time they interact with other humans, everyone's happy about them. So, again, if you're gonna make a plot about how they have to leave because there's too much tension with humans or anything, like you need to like set something up. Because at this point, they're really starting to introduce more plots that people start distrusting Sonic, which is I kind of wish they gave the humans more reasons why they distrusted Sonic. Like they really need some sort of Alex Jones kind of character, like, oh, those aliens are all gonna take our jobs and like you need some like that kind of like friction first, so then it makes more sense why there's suddenly this tension that they have to leave, because now everyone just treats them as rock stars, so this plot kind of comes out of nowhere. It's kind of confusing. I'm kind of happy the 4Kids kind of tone it down because it doesn't really feel like a proper plot yet. There's no friction. There's no danger. There's no tension yet.
Maybe the Japanese version was just poking fun of the Sonic fan base. You know how they're always complaining like, "No, humans and Mobians can't exist together."
I do find it's interesting that Eggman has absolutely no connection, feels no connection with humans at all. Like even when he talks with Sonic, he's like, "Oh, people like us have to leave." Like it's kind of interesting. It is like zero interest in like, oh, don't I come from Earth? Because it was set up in the Sonic Adventure 2 bit for just a second. Like, hey, my grandfather's from this planet. Am I from here? But
I think it's because Eggman lived in Sonic's world for so long, he accepts that place as his true home.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, would have been interesting if they went more into it, but I'll get back to it in later episodes because they're going to build on this. Technically, the only plot of this episode is the fact that the Chaotix have to get Cream back to Vanilla. That's technically the plot of this episode, even though I think only a total of 3 minutes of the entire episode actually are dedicated to this plot. The rest is just set up for later, I guess. So yeah, the main plot, Melting Man. What is your opinion about the whole Chaotix go after Cream?
That is kind of interesting with how the Chaotix are introduced here. I can't remember if this came out before or after Heroes when they were reintroduced with their styles. After, yeah. So, yeah, it is kind of interesting seeing them, like, getting in so late into the Sonic X, and even though they don't really do much, like in the main English dub, in the Japanese version, there's that whole scene of them trying to figure out Sonic's whereabouts. But yeah, they're just goofy detectives that don't do much, aside from trying to threaten people with Charmy's butt.
Yeah. Luke, what do you think about the Chaotix being introduced here?
As I said earlier, it's probably funny how they're trying to be all jokey fourth wall breaking characters, and like they're kind of the sort of people that you probably observe things from the sidelines or trying to get involved and maybe trying to do their own thing. But yeah, I'm quite interested in like what kind of what they're a bit up to in the series.
Yeah, I always love the way you have main character aren't really the good or the bad side, but kind of operate on their own level.
Although, yeah, that is. Yeah, that is also kind of weird because, like, with the fourth wall breaking stuff, it definitely happens a lot more in the Japanese version. Like when they find Cream, they're like, "Ah, we found Cream." Huh? It only took one scene transition of that to happen. In the English dub, it's it's very tame. The only time they actually break the fourth wall is when they do their whole introduction. You know, like, "Oh, I'm Vector the Crocodile." Yeah, but stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. One thing that bothered me is, like, especially since the episode doesn't really focus on the main plot, most of it is just flashbacks and weird setups. But as a result, they never really establish why they think Sonic kidnapped Cream, because they really start thinking that Sonic and friends are the bad guys, which especially in the Japanese version makes no sense because they literally watch Sonic X on DVD, so they should know Cream's living conditions now, but apparently they don't. So they did a terrible job actually researching Sonic X.
I think they just mostly been scene skipping a lot.
Yeah, they did say that. Yeah. But then again, if your entire mission is to fight Cream, you'd think that they watched that episode with Cream in it. Then they know exactly what's up with her. But apparently they didn't.
Then again, I think Charmy states that the DVD is called, like, the best of Sonic the Hedgehog, so the whole thing was probably just, like, a big clip show of only Sonic-only clips, so they don't even know that Cream's with him.
I guess so. Even still, I kind of wish there was, like, a scene where, like, the Chaotix were more, like, stalking Cream and the others, and they were, like, shopping in city or something, and then Cream is like, "Oh, I want to see the chocolate store," and she's kind of pushed along. It's like, "No, Cream, we have to get home quickly because it's almost dinner time," and then the Chaotix mistake that for her being kidnapped. "Oh, look, Cream is trying to escape, but they're dragging her along." Like, that would have given more of an establishing shot or a reason why they think she's kidnapped. Because the way it's presented now, they have no motivation to think that. So, and it's kind of implied they already know who Sonic is, so they're familiar with Sonic. So to immediately think he's a kidnapper is kind of weird. Oh well, guess I'm looking too far into this. I just wanted to have a, but yeah, still I know it's a cartoony, wacky comedy plot, but still the setup is very important for the jokes to work. Because now, if I don't know what the character's motivation is or what they think, then the jokes kind of fall flat.
I think it'd be funny if they grab something that they thought was Cream, like they grab a stuffed toy rabbit or a small child wearing a similar outfit.
That would be funny. But hey, that actually does happen in episode 41, but we'll get later. Though not with Cream.
Alright.
And it's kind of weird. We have this whole episode to introduce the Chaotix and Vanilla, and then the next two episodes they don't appear anymore. Yeah, Vanilla does appear in the background, and the Chaotix are pretty much out of the show.
Yeah, the Chaotix just disappear after this episode, but yeah.
Oh well, I guess it's the same with Rouge and Big the Cat making a cameo in the first episode, just establishing them.
Yeah, at least we get Vanilla. They're making a big introduction in the show, and I assume that's how people were introduced to the character, because she appeared in made first an appearance in Sonic Advance 2, but only in the 100% ending. Yeah.
This is pretty much the most we ever see of her and her personality, because in the game she barely talks and makes barely an appearance. So.
Yeah, she only has she's only appeared in 3 games, Advance 2, 3, and Sonic Rush, but even then they're just glorified cameos, so she's definitely a lot more active in Sonic X, and of course later she'd become more active as a comic-exclusive character for the Sonic X comics, Archie Sonic, and of course IDW Sonic.
One thing I found weird about Vanilla is her voice. I mean, they give Cream a very annoying, high-pitched voice, but I guess that's because the Japanese do that, because they love their kawaii stuff. And the American voice actors haven't quite figured out how to do that comfortably yet. But then Vanilla shows up, and they give her the almost exact same voice as Cream. Except in the Japanese version, she has a normal, generic mother voice, so I don't know why they did that. So then when Vanilla and Cream talk together, you have like 2 high-pitched voices.
That's weirder, because... It's more weird because, like, in her introduction, her voice is a little more, like, deeper. But then, like, throughout the rest of the series, it sounds completely different for some reason.
You want to say something, Luke?
Yeah, I just had this idea that if Vanilla and Cream do end up in the Sonic movieverse, they could be very good friends with Rachel and JoJo, like Cream and JoJo playing together, and Rachel and Vanilla talking about their old ex-husbands.
Oh, that would be a good pairing. There you go.
Hey, I'd be all for seeing Cream in the Sonic movie universe.
I like to imagine that Vanilla was divorced.
That'll be a great team up, yeah. Speaking of changing voices, am I the only one who noticed that Vector's voice also changed in the American version? Like, at first he sounded completely different, and halfway through the episode he changes more to the, like, go to the computer room voice. Like, slow, it wasn't there first. It's almost like during the episode he was still figuring out the voice.
Yeah, I did sort of notice that. Like, the first couple of scenes he's in, it's a lot more like... But then, like, throughout half of the episode, then it's a little more, like, deeper and less annoying, I guess.
Is it the same voice actor?
Yeah, I think so. That just changes... I guess...
I like to imagine that during recording, the director says, no, sound like this, and they didn't go back and redo the other lines.
Yeah, I guess they were on a very tight script.
Oh, then again, like, the first introduction was, like, at night when their detective house somehow ends up in the dock, so maybe that's just how Victor sounds like at night without getting to that much sleep. So in the morning, he sounds normal.
Fair enough. I'll take that. You're still shaken up about it being crashed into someone's home.
Another thing is, like, how did they move the house? Because at first it was on the top of a house, and then when they next see the house, it's on ground level.
Yeah, I guess the government did that, although, yeah, they don't show that, no.
Yeah, but I think it was Vanilla's house that was on top of a house. The
Chaotix house. Oh, that's right. It does look different.
Yeah, I assume it is, because, yeah, the Chaotix house, that only shows up in the docks.
Oh, that was their house, right. That was a different house, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They have the same colors. Both are kind of yellow with green windows. But now I look at it, yeah, it does look different. And now I'm wondering if Vanilla's house is still there. The poor elderly couple still has a giant house in the roof. That'd be hilarious.
This guy's charging her rent.
Yeah, the only thing that's missing is the home of Cream's mom sign that just shows up in front of the house. Which is so stupid that it's called that. But it's only in the Japanese version, of course.
That's kind of funny, yeah, that you name your house after your child. Like, she's
I guess Cream. Yeah, I guess Cream was just more marketable than Vanilla. At least she used to be, and now it's just called the home of blank because Cream's no longer marketable.
That is something that annoys me about Sonic. Yeah, they did the names like, oh, the planet is Sonic's world, and this is Cream's mother's.
This kind of reminds me like how in Winnie the Pooh, Pooh's house has like some kind of weird name on it.
Pooh's
house? Mr. Sanders. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, at least he's. Well, that was the name of the previous owner, at least. So that makes more sense. Oh well. But yeah, that always kind of bothered me.
But yeah, the whole Sonic's world thing. Yeah, it's weird. They never addressed that in Sonic.
It feels kind of lazy. Like they just don't bother to actually give it proper names and just call everything after the main characters. Instead of Station Square, this is city that Sonic visits. Like that's literally its official name or something.
Well, they still call it Station Square, but yeah.
Yeah, it would have been if they call everything like that.
But yeah, it does kind of annoy me that in the Sonic X universe they never bothered naming Sonic's planet a proper name. I know Cream mentions Green Hill Zone, but it's like not quite the actual name of the planet. Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. Anyone else has something to say about the Team Chaotix episode?
Just poor Espio. He gets treated like trash in this episode.
He sure does.
Actually, the way I see Espio lying there reminds me of that meme where you see Peter Griffin all battered and bruised.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Oh, well. Then again, all of them get a little mocked a bit, including Charmy. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Episode 40. Anyone wants to do a synopsis of that one?
Yeah, I think I could do this one. Basically, it's set on New Year's Eve, which is surprisingly warm for New Year's Eve. All the guys are on a boat, decide to pull some party poppers, and Cream is like, "Oh, don't do that! You'll scare the sun away." And it's like, "No, it's fine." And then suddenly, as it's during sunset, the sun gets blocked out by apparently by Eggman's egg moon. Eggman has to explain to the president, "Oh, I didn't do this. There was something that was on the egg moon that stopped it from moving, which is totally not. I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible for this." And the president said, "Okay." So they had a little panel thing, and Robotnik's like, "Yeah, we can get it to move, but it might take a year. But I will sort out an alternate solution to it." So they sent Deco and Boko into space, using a reflecting disc to reflect the sun's rays onto another thing where Robotnik sells these artificial UV lamps to all the homes, so they all get their own artificial suns, and he's like raking it in. He's creating this huge business out of this. And, he's getting all the profits in. Now, the poor, they can't afford these artificial suns, and so the government's like, okay, we'll give you artificial suns anyway in the streets. And Jerome Wise, who is suddenly a homeless person again, is like, oh, great, excellent. And so they're all enjoying their artificial suns. Robotnik is getting rich, but Sonic is having none of it and needs to, right, something's off about this. So he goes off and commits terrorism by destroying all the mirror towers and making Sonic public enemy number one. And Robotnik says, look, Robotnik's destroying my... not Sonic is destroying my mirror thingies. And so the president, who is really conflicted about this, because they saw Sonic as a hero of Earth and a public love figure, and now he's public enemy number one. So they decided to release the image, and everyone is pissed. So they decided to go after Sonic, who they think is in the Thorndike residence. So all the homeless people went after, invade the Thorndike residence. So they have to defend the house. I think that's where it ends.
Yeah, pretty much. You get a final joke about Eggman X, and that's about it. Yeah.
Yes, Eggman is trying to take over the show. He was like, yep, it's going to be all me now. And then we get a brand new, I think it's only in the Japanese version, I'm not sure, a new outro theme, which is really rocking. And this is good. I thought we'd find it's a bit more better and more fitting to Sonic than the previous one. Is about the girls singing about fun and, happy fun times or whatever.
Yeah, the Japanese version, there's 3 different outros they've done. The first one they did for a while was just Sonic and friends chilling at the sofa watching TV at night, and then Ella comes in Sonic, clean up this mess you made. It's wah, wah. And then the second one was the whole love, very anime thing, Sonic's walking, then Amy's waiting. I think in the last time they did that, might be just me misremembering, but I remember one episode they replaced so it ends with Amy standing behind a tree and Sonic walks to her, and then it ends. But then there's one episode where they replaced Amy with cheese for some reason. So and then of course we have this new one, which is this outline of Sonic, and then
I suppose it's very fitting for Sonic.
Yeah, and I like the animation too. It starts off with this outline, and then it's full body, but it's black and white. But then the lines become cleaner, and the color comes in, and then it ends with a close up of Sonic's face.
Yeah, and the music was a lot more catchier as well.
Yeah, very upbeat.
I love it. Yeah, it's very awesome. It was a big surprise for me all of a sudden. I did not expect that. I wish they changed the opening scene, because the opening songs are even better usually. But hey, at least we got this song out of it, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. At least they still have Sonic Drive. None of that gotta go fast bullshit.
I kind of like them both. But yeah, Sonic Drive is superior, I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this episode, even more social commentary. And boy, look at Chris Thorndike beating the shit out of people over there. Man, this is pretty epic.
Yeah, die, peasants!
And the president's aides choking Chuck over here. Oh, man, I love this shot. And Amy hammering on people. Ooh, it's getting intense, this episode.
Yeah, Amy first tries to charge at them with her hammer, and Chuck's no, you only make it worse. Oh, what do we do? Oh, we'll just try and talk to them. And then that doesn't work, and then Chuck's oh, Mr. Chuck, I'll save you. And then gets run over. And then this big brawl starts.
Pretty epic ending for the episode. That's a cliffhanger. But yeah, let's start with the beginning. Yeah, so it's New Year, and like Luke said, it's very sunny here. I guess this show takes place very close to the Ecuador, or what's the name? The middle of the Earth? Sorry?
Equator?
Ecuador,
there you go.
I pronounce it Equator.
Yeah, Equator, yeah, I was thinking of something else.
There's a country called Ecuador.
Yeah. Oops.
Is that where Sonic gets the set?
Because Topaz is even sunny on the beach, so that you wouldn't want to do that in our New Year's. Although in our New Year's we do have the habit of jumping in the sea, but not in those clothes.
Yeah, Topaz is just chilling out on the beach while Rouge is in the president's office for some reason. I just
that made me laugh so hard. It's so random. She's just
I like to imagine in the Japanese dub, the subtitles for it is just wrong, and she's actually just saying, "Shut up, bitch! I'm the president now."
That was so random. Yeah, I love it. She's always looking for wealth, so she just storms into the president's office. Like, my chair now, bitch.
all the world's nuclear missiles are mine to keep.
I was almost hoping the next time we see the president, Roach is still sitting on his chair and he has to chase her out. Like she's like an annoying cat. You have to scare away from your chair first. The president tries to sit down and Roach just jumps up.
I don't know if there was these photographs of you see of like Joe Biden inappropriate touching people. You could probably imagine him touching Rouge in such a way.
Oh my, creepy. That would be something.
Well, I guess if that did happen, then that would pretty much explain that the president is crap. What's his name? The guy like, oh, I did not have sexual conduct with this man.
Oh, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, the president in Sonic X is Bill Clinton.
That's not better. Well, technically it takes place in 2003, so I guess we have Bush now. It would be funnier with Clinton, though. Yep.
Yeah, it's just Clinton, but overweight.
There you go.
I think he is. I'm not sure.
Not sure if he's based on anyone, but yeah, why not? Just call him Clinton.
Yeah.
Should have had more of a Texas drawl, but we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Man, in the Japanese version, I love when Eggman comes in. He's just like, "Hello, everybody!" Like super happy.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I was kind of surprised how toned down Mike Pollock is. I expected him to be all hammy about this, but he's kind of toned down.
Oh, there is something I want to point out, like in the previous episode and also this episode, how the Thorndikes and Eggman could just nonchalantly just walk into the president's office. Like anyone could just walk in there now.
Apparently so. Yeah.
President, how's it going?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, in the English dub, Robotnik kind of makes up this excuse, like, "Oh, how'd you get here?" Like, "Oh, I disguised myself as a bar soap and gave him the slip," or something. Oh. But in the Japanese version, it's played more straight.
Yeah, they just walk it off with a pun. But yeah, I love the idea that everyone got to storm in with a president. I mean, later there's even a joke where, no, not a joke, but a sequence where Robotnik just calls up the president. I find that funny too, because I don't think that's happening in the real world. We can just call up the president quickly. President, I need help with my product. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I just love how everyone can just casually barter this president. Just like Sonic jumping in his limousine. The president just gets no respect. Everyone just barges right in. I love it. But yeah, so Sonic X is surprisingly getting a lot more political now. So full-blown scenes of Congress and Eggman signing papers. Man, ever since Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, I always wanted to see what a Dr. Eggman Corporation would be like, because in that game he randomly had a company where he sold robots. And it felt like such a cool concept, such a cool theme, but it's never explored in that game. But now in this episode, and then we finally get to see Robotnik start a corporation. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, he easily tricks all the humans into trusting him. Everyone's kind of super stupid about it again. But oh well. Yeah, there was a lot to talk about, but I can't think of it.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing I want to bring up is like the first opening. There's a kind of a weird difference between the English and Japanese version, where well, first of all, there's this cute scene where like everyone's getting ready for New Year's, and Cream's like, no, maybe the noisemakers will like scare away the sun, and her mom like comforts her like, oh, don't worry, Cream, she'll like it. So just wholesome bunny family moment. And then the weird thing with how they celebrate the New Year's is like in the English dub, they say like, oh well, the first rise at sunset will celebrate. So the sun rises, and then you hear them celebrate, oh, Happy New Year. But then in the Japanese version, they like, all right, get ready, and then like the celebration doesn't go off. So it's kind of weird when like Cream reacts to it. So like the English are like, oh, I knew our noise would scare away the sun, but in the Japanese version they had to change it. It's kind of weird how they delivered that bit.
Oh, I didn't even notice that, but yeah, I did notice in the next episode where when they're celebrating, they have alcohol on the table, and the American version skipped that shot. Of course.
Well, they do. Well, they kept that scene with them celebrating, but yeah, I assume they removed that like alcohol from that shot. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I missed then. Anyway, yeah, and another interesting thing about this episode, we finally get a plot about Sonic being more rebellious. Now, this is very interesting to me because very often I always get complaints that Sonic is very boring and bland and generic in the adventure games because he's much more heroic and he's supposed to be more of a dick. And I've never been a big fan of Sonic being a dick because most of the times they try to do that, it's just not fun. Like Fleetway, he's just an asshole just yelling at Tails for no reason. And Sonic Boom, yeah. Yeah, and Sonic Lost. Yeah, Sonic Lost World. It's more Tails, I guess. But yeah, Fleetway and Sonic Boom. He's just always tired and bored and doesn't care about anything.
Freaking Sonic Boom. Yeah.
And heck, even Sonic X up till this point, I hated him being a rebel because it usually boils down that he's just dicking around the other side of the planet and he's just running around the mountains, being completely disconnected from the plot. So it just felt stupid. It's like there's this big epic plot going on and Sonic's just dicking around the other side of the planet, like he's not even part of his own show.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I liked movie Sonic, because he acts a lot more innocent and a bit more goofy because he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of removed that part of that he's supposed to be a rebel there. But this episode, for the first time ever, we actually get a plot where him being a rebel is actually relevant, which I found very interesting. Because now, for the first time, Sonic just doing things on his own starts to work against what other people's wanted him to do. So now he actually suddenly becomes an enemy because he refuses to communicate what he's doing. Now, while I still think it's kind of weak because by the end he's still doing the heroic thing, but I do love this concept. Because if that's the theme you're going with, like Sonic is supposed to be this rebel who isn't just the brainless hero, he just does whatever he wants. Just most of the time he happens to be on the good side. It's like I want to see the plot where he's actually not quite on the good side, like kind of like Rouge the Bad, where I mean he's not full blown a bad guy, but he's just kind of working his own interests. And in this episode, you find these two episodes, you kind of almost get that plot, and it's really interesting to me because you almost never see them do anything with this. Or am I the only one who thought that? Do you find the story interesting that everyone is against Sonic, Luke?
Well, I think it's very similar to what was going on a bit in the movie, because you can see, like, by the end of the movie you found out that this is kind of exactly what Eggman wants. This is his whole scheme the whole time, like trying to get the world against Sonic by doing some sort of good deed which could make Sonic destroy it, and then sell it as propaganda that Sonic is actually doing a bad thing, which is like him, like his intelligence or his plan paying off.
Well, yeah, we had plots where Robotnik tricked the world into thinking he's evil, like with Sonic Boom in the episode with Metal Sonic. But this is the first time that Sonic's own behavior actually causes people to think of him as a villain. So.
Yeah, and also we don't get to see like Sonic's inner thoughts or him explaining like what he's thinking, why he's going after these mirror towers, making you think like, well, why is Sonic doing this? Like, why is he not telling us his agenda?
Yeah, and it's on one hand kind of irritating, but on the other hand, it does. I kind of respect it because we finally actually get a plot about this behavior. By the way, the shot I show you now, I found it very funny in the actual episode because they make Sonic bob up and down very quickly, like he's running super fast, except they make the scenery go very slow. And it's especially funny because there's also grass in the foreground, and even that goes slow. So they kind of make me laugh.
It's like, that episode or the next episode. When you see Sonic running, you see like his mouth flapping open a bit.
I did not spot that.
Yeah, but that's probably like a reference to like in the Japanese version, he sees that like, oh, what's going on? But then like English dub, they remove that line.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be talking to in that bit, but he's not.
Yeah, only in the Japanese version.
Might have been. Another thing I found interesting is, so you shot off the sun for the entire planet. That should be a huge project to get every single home in the entire planet alight. Yet all they show is just the two dumbass robots driving around in a van. Like, are they driving their van across the entire planet to give suns to every single inhabitant of the entire world? That's gonna take quite a long time.
And also, if you know about like how the sun and the moon works, I mean, is it only that area that's completely in darkness?
That's a very good question. They never explain it.
Yeah, like you think there would be a line from Robotnik saying like, today Station Square, tomorrow the world, or something like that.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how, at the same time, they treat it very much like a stupid kids show. Like, oh, they shut off the sun, but we only see one city being affected, and the rest of the world doesn't. And yet, in the final episode, actually, they go fully scientific about it. So, apparently, the writers do know about the actual reality of the thing, just most of the episode still kind of ignores it. So, it's kind of zigzagged.
One thing I want to bring up is, It's just the fact I kind of like how Deku and Boko are portrayed here. Like, you know, they're helping out with getting the sunshine balls to people, and they're, like, actually genuinely enjoying the job. They're actually enjoying, like, you know, helping out people and everything. And then, of course, the scene where they, like, launch the rocket to, like, have the satellite adjusted so that they can have the towers working to power up the sunshine balls. And it's kind of interesting because the Japanese version, there's definitely a lot more jokes where Bo-kun delivers a message to Robot from Robot, like, oh, make sure you do the job. And then it's like, hey, what about my part? Okay, and this robot will now play the 3-stringed instrument. So that's what Bo-kun does, like, plays this instrument for a while. I don't know what it is. I know it's
kind of random, but that's a weird running joke.
But yeah, so he plays this instrument, and then Deku and Boko are like, oh, wow, such hidden talent. You know, we really got to step up our game. Yeah, I know, we'll start speaking in Chinese. So during the whole countdown, they counted down to Chinese.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about that, the guitar bit. I was wondering, like, how that's incorporated in the English dub. If they put that in, like, I'm going to be playing the electric guitar now.
No, that didn't do anything at all.
Yeah, that whole scene was removed from the English dub.
There he just comes up and Robotnik tells you to do the job you're already doing. It's like, okay, that's redundant, thanks. I have to say, I was laughing so hard when I saw this shot of Boku and Deku just randomly standing with the realistic humans. Not because it's something wrong, but it just looks funny. Like, they're just randomly standing there, like, yep.
Yeah. One of these things doesn't belong here.
Oh well. But yeah, it's a cute side plot that they actually think they're genuinely helping. Kind of makes them tragic that the only reason they're evil is because Eggman forces them to. So they get punished for just because Eggman is a dick. They could have been nice if only they were giving a chance. How sad and tragic. And yet again, I found it fascinating that yet again, out of all the kids that get focused, it's yet again Helen. So now I'm really wondering, why isn't she the main human? I mean, Danny and the other one just barely get any screen time.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while since we've seen Danny and Francis. But yeah,
are they still part of the show because Chris didn't go to school anymore or something? You moved? Is that still relevant?
Well, during the whole at the beginning of the Sonic Adventure 2 adaptation, he temporarily had to move while the mansion was still getting repairs because it was all flooded from Perfect Chaos and whatnot. So I assume after the events of the Adventure 2 adaptation, the mansion's fixed, so now he's moved back to Station Square, back with the gang, yada yada yada.
I want to talk about that for a bit because that's so confusing. Because Sonic Adventure set up that plot like it's permanent. Like even the teacher character now is full-blown agent and has different clothes. But yeah, they kind of set it back again. But it's so funny to me how a lot of those weird subplots they set up are immediately pointless. Like last time, I already joked about how pointless Amy having her own apartment was. Because suddenly for Sonic Adventure 1, she had to have her apartment. We get one scene in there where she's just complaining why she has an apartment. And in these episodes, she's back at Chris again. So yet again, why was that even
I forgot she had an apartment.
Well, I think her
they only
did
that just because the Sonic Adventure is supposed to live there.
Yeah, well, I think her apartment does come back in a later episode, but of course only in the Japanese episode. But yeah, I can't remember which. I know it's one of the later episodes of season 2, but we'll get there when we get there.
Fair enough. So I guess it does come back. But yeah, here I was just kind of laughing. Like, okay, so you move her just to make it fit with Sonic Adventure, and then you immediately cut it off again. Like that was pointless. Okay, that made me laugh. Yeah, Sonic X plotting is a bit awkward.
Yeah, but hey, at least with all the when it comes to exclusive characters, Sonic X to be recurring, it's always best that Helen is the most recurring one because Helen is best Sonic X character.
No, the most recurring character is Jeremy, the president's aide. Still wondering where he is going.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's still there, yeah, that was kind of weird with the previous episode, Jeremy there, I don't know, maybe that could be his twin.
It kind of reminds me of those animation eras when you get, a crowd where you see, the character there, but you also see the same character in the background.
Oh, that's if the character's kidnapped. The old Super Friends cartoon did it all the time. Aquaman is kidnapped, we have to save him, and then you get a generic background shot, and Aquaman is just standing there. It's you already saved him, apparently. Got a lot of cheap animation.
Yeah, of course, Sonic X is no stranger to animation errors. Obviously, there's that whole bit where, Amy's being blown away, and apparently she doesn't have panties, but that was more of a coloring mistake. And then, of course, that one episode where apparently Knuckles has fingered gloves instead of the boxing glove type. Yeah.
I got shocking news. My wife tells me that the guitar he's holding is called a shamisen, or I can't pronounce it. Traditional Japanese instrument.
Shamisen. Yeah,
There you
I
go.
almost call it a kubo because I mostly remember seeing that from the movie Kubo and the Two Strings.
But yeah, I think they in the show itself they refer to it as a three-string instrument guitar. Yeah. And I suddenly got a message from Captain Fairy. He tells me that it's the same instrument that Espio plays in Team Chaotix Team Blast in Sonic Heroes, which is indeed true, and I forgot about that. So there's your pointless trivia from the captain.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that's the only time Espio's ever played that. It's only in Sonic Heroes. Every other game, he has no instrument.
Yeah, because Espio barely gets any screen time, which is a waste. I mean, you have a ninja detective. If you think you can do fun stuff
yeah, it's
with
a real
him.
shame. Like, come on, you'd think there would be a spin-off game with, like, Espio doing ninja stuff, stealth missions, and throwing stars, but no, I guess that's just too violent for the US crowd or some shit like that, I don't know.
Only Sonic is allowed screen time. Yeah, the Chaotix are really wasted. It's really a shame. Oh well, maybe in the future. But yeah, I doubt Sonic Frontiers is going to do anything with them, if they're going to show up at all. I think it's already established they won't, so there you go. But that's left to see. But yeah, back to Sonic X. Yeah, anything else we want to say? I mean, it's a two-parter, so yeah. What's up?
Yeah, I feel like the whole joke, like, oh, the Eggman X thing, like, it feels like in the Japanese version they really play it up on the meta, where, you know, Robotnik's getting the phone calls from, like, oh, thanks for the sunshine balls, like, oh, you're a hero, like, wait, I'm a hero, like Sonic? And I know it's a little different in the English stuff, but in the Japanese version, he just goes full on meta, being like, wait, if I'm the hero, does that mean I'm the main character of this cartoon? So then they really play it, ham it up at the ending. It's like, now that Sonic is the villain, time for some changes. It means the show will be Eggman X, so tune in next week for the exciting adventures of Eggman.
Yeah, I really hate that sort of four-ball joke. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I just know in the English stuff, they kind of really played it down. It's like only near the end where they like, oh, hey, let's change the show to Eggman X, and that's it. They don't really like ham it up like the Japanese version did.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring this up. Like, I like how Rouge kind of explains what Sonic is like, and it's like one of the best explanation we get out of his personality. Like, from Sonic's point of view, I don't think he ever thought he was your ally. Sonic just does what he likes. It just happens that his interests match up with yours. It's like that's one of the few times they really like spell out his personality, and it fitting that Rouge is doing that because that's kind of her personality as well. That's kind of what makes these characters interesting. Like, they're not just random generic heroes. They
Yeah,
do their own
in the
thing.
Japanese version. I think the English version, they just kind of simple it down to like, oh, you know, Sonic and Robotnik are rivals and to the bitter end or something, I don't know.
They made it much more boring in the English version, yeah.
Which is one of the many reasons why the Japanese version is better.
In some accounts, yes, and in other accounts, no. But so far, they both have their pros and cons.
Mhm.
Anyway, anything else? Luke, you wanted to say something about this episode?
I don't know. I mean, well, the concept idea of Eggman scamming all these people with these UV balls so he can get rich quick, and I thought that this could not be an idea, a recurring idea he could do. Where, like, I mean, in previous episodes, he did set up shopping channels where he tried to flog dodgy gear, and I could see him being like a Sonic equivalent of Del Boy, where he tried to sell, when in various episodes he would sell dodgy gear in order to get rich, but it ultimately keeps failing.
There you go. Robotnik should have been the Alex Jones character in the show. Giving all kinds of rumors
A bit like
about
JJJ, yeah.
J.J. Jameson, yeah.
Sonic is a menace!
He really should
What
do that.
features? Features of Sonic!
But yeah, I always love it when Eggman is integrating in society. Man, his TV shopping thing with the cheerful chibi logo. I utterly love even his robots are kind of happy there. Oh yeah, I didn't bring that up. I love that the poster on the DVD where Deacon and Boku have this super menacing look on them, even though there's some completely jokes in the show.
Oh yeah, from the previous episode, yeah.
And of course, I've got Chris is crying. Like, this DVD cover's perfect. That's why I had to draw it for the thumbnail.
That's why. I was kind of expecting you to draw in like Vector doing his Detective Conan impersonation for the thumbnail.
Could have done that too, yeah. Poor Chaotix. He already complained they barely get any attention, and I didn't give them a thumbnail either. I'm such a jerk.
I mean, I can imagine you drawing Chris throttling a homeless person.
Sonic is mine!
No, during like the fight at the Thorndike residence.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That would have been a cool picture too, yeah. Oh, I hear Chris beating the shit out of homeless people. Get out of my screen time, you son of a bitch.
Get away, peasant!
Yeah. But yeah, drawing the DVD cover for the thumbnail. But hey, at least you remembered to put the whole Knuckles sexy swimsuit thing on the thumbnail as well.
That too, yeah. The extra. The fan service extra. But that makes me wonder if that DVD in the show actually like animated or is the documentary like from their perspective? It's like an actual documentary. Someone somehow filmed those characters actually doing their thing, or is it like all staged? Did they get the actual Knuckles to agree on the mermaid sort of thing?
Yeah, that is a mystery because like outside of the clip show, yeah, we don't really get a good clear look of like what's actually on the screen of the TV. Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. I think we're done with this episode, so shall we move to the next one? 41. Right. Yeah, Melting Man, you're gonna do the synopsis?
Yeah, I'll do the story synopsis. Alright, so where we last left off, Robotnik's trying to take over the world, the homeless people are infecting the Thorndike residents, so Amy's like, screw this, I'm gonna kill them all, but then says she just breaks open a hole in the wall so that they can escape, but then, nope, there's even more homeless people surrounding them, so, and then eventually, they are saved by, Sam, thanks to his speed team, which apparently implies that he no longer works for the president, so... Yeah, so they managed to scare them off, so now everything's peaceful again. Sonic continues being an active terrorist, where instead of trying to attack the Thorndikes, the homeless people now beg Knuckles' help to try and stop Sonic. So Knuckles has been, like, observing what's going on, like, oh, Robotnik has reformed, I guess, so he decides, alright, I'll stop Sonic. So then gun agents are flying off, and then they discover this dome that's somehow connected to the Egg Moon or whatnot. So, yeah, stuff's going on, and then we get the big reveal that Robotnik hasn't reformed. Big shocker. But, yeah, the whole thing is like, oh, the Sunshine Balls. They're, like, transmitting subliminal messages to everyone, including a random dog, to, like, love and worship Robotnik so he can take over the world. Even though Deku and Boku are kind of bummed, because they thought they really were turning over a new leaf. But, yeah, eventually they find out, Sonic and the gang finally find out the truth. Like, oh, Sonic's doing this not out of, like, terrorism, like, evil terrorism, just like, well, you know, the whole deal with the Egg Moon has been stuck in front of the sun for a long time, and then they go into the complicated, like, science stuff, in which Chris makes this comment, which probably the inspiration for the good old "I'm confused, lol" bit. So, right.
Yeah, he did predate it, so, ouch.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Right, so they find out the Robotnik's real schemes. Robotnik decides to hold the president and his assistant hostage while he becomes the president. And then the X-Tornado crashes into the White House, and then they manage to escape thanks to Chalkboard Charlie saving the hostages and replacing them with balloon dummies. And then they find out, oh, we can't destroy the dome that controls the Egg Moon, but we'll just have to go up to the Egg Moon ourselves. So they get all suit up in the spaceships and rocket, and Tanaka goes there, because apparently... at least according to the Japanese version, he always wanted to be an astronaut. So they go up there, and Knuckles does his job by smashing the transmitter that's connected to the dome on Earth. So that way the moon can move away from the sun, and now there's sun again. And then Robotnik's on the run from everyone, and then he starts has to answer these questions to try and like make his escape. And then of course when it comes to the last one, Sonic's like, "All right, who's the coolest guy, me or you?" And Robotnik's like, "Oh, that's stupid. It's me, of course." And then of course that knocks him out, and then he gets to go to jail, and that's pretty much how the episode ends.
Oh, if only Eggman said, "Oh, Sonic is the coolest," and everyone said, "You know what, Eggman, you're a good guy. Let it go away. You're free to start a new terrorist action." Apparently,
yeah,
it would have been funny. Yeah, plenty to talk about. Luke, what's your opinion about this episode?
Yeah, there's quite a lot going on in this episode. Like you got Knuckles versus Sonic, which I thought was pretty good, and also you had Tails crashing the tornado into the White House, which is like something out of Independence Day. And
like
also,
in the Japanese version, you get an outside shot, but the American version took that out, probably because so close to 9/11.
Probably.
And also the plot of Eggman's scheme using the UV balls, brainwashing the residents into loving him. It's like that sounds like something straight out of Batman Forever, wasn't it? With the huge blender thingies. And,
Yeah,
Yeah,
much.
the Riddler. Yeah.
It also sounds like the video game I made, Soul Sustentia. Except I used soda instead of Sonic.
But yeah, and also you got the quiz thing near the end. That's pretty funny because I knew that Eggman's going to screw up somehow at the very end and get himself arrested.
Yeah, like in the Japanese version, like the questions are actually like more
Scientific,
complex.
yeah.
Yeah, more scientific to try and quiz him. Like, oh, does Robotnik really have an IQ of 300? And then Amy's question is like something really stupid, like, oh, if you confess your love under a rainbow, it'll come true. And Robotnik's like, no, that's not true. It's like, oh, really?
I love how
then-
he doesn't even let her finish her sentence. He's still halfway through a sentence. It's like, no, you idiot, and just runs away. That was kind of
I also just love how they can just nonchalant just easily get to the moon, like it's about a 10-minute space flight. So they could go like, I'm going to the moon. Do you want anything? A drink? A Mars bar, maybe?
Yeah. Also, also Knuckles can somehow like survive in the moon, cause like survive in space. Cause I know there's one episode where like Sonic's out in space and he like freezes up from like the cold air or whatnot. But Knuckles, it don't bother him apparently.
No, he can just beat
Echidnas could breathe in space.
Also, there's this wonderful scene where Bokun and Deacon and Eggman are like drawing their money on with crayons. That was very awesome.
Oh yeah.
I want to see more scenes of that and them just drawing
Yeah,
with
Eggman
crayons.
saying like, I want my face on the $1 bill.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention, the whole quiz thing at the end. So like the Japanese version is more scientific. The English dub is kind of meta in a way because like it's stuff
surprising.
they ask stuff about the show, like Chris like, oh, Sonic landed in my living room, Dad, no, and then it's right. And then of course Amy's question is question 3, Sonic says I'm the prettiest girl in the world. No way, Jose. No, you don't have to rub it in. And
That
it
is
turns
so
out
weird
that's
because
right.
usually the Japanese is the one that breaking the fourth wall, and the English try to make it more logical. This is one of the few times where it's the other way around. And I actually prefer the
Yeah, that
Japanese
is weird.
version. Because then
Oh, yeah,
them
I-
actually testing Eggman's IQ is awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah, but yeah, I could imagine Captain Theory doesn't like that scene because he's like a Son Amy fan. So like the whole it's like, oh, you don't have to rub it in with the whole thing.
Especially since the sound effect indicates he's actually correct.
Speaking of that sound
Yeah.
effect, I swear I heard it before. It feels like a very
Game
it's like
show
you-
sound effect, I think.
It feels like I have heard it like in a Sonic game or somewhere else. It's a very recognizable tune.
Oh, ding-ding, yeah, I think you're right. I think it has to do with from Sonic 3, the racing competition. When
Might
you
be, yeah.
finish a race, maybe?
Maybe I was kind of thinking more of Pokemon.
I doubt they get sound effects from there, but who knows? Am I the only one who found Amy's eyes kind of scary looking during the quiz scene?
Well, I don't know, like the context of like both versions, it just makes sense. You know, like
I mean,
talk
her
about
eyes look
romantic
kind of
stuff.
creepy, regardless of what she says.
Oh,
Look at her eyes on the screen now.
oh yeah, I see them. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm okay with
I
it.
also want to point out, like, we're not appearing for the last couple of episodes that we see Mr. Stewart appear out of nowhere, only to make a cameo appearance of swapping the president out with the balloon character.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I've done my job, bye.
Oh yeah, that was another thing that happened in the same episode where like so like when the mob of homeless people crash the Thorndike residence, like Vanilla's nowhere to be seen, but then when they actually barge into the house in the next scene, then Vanilla suddenly shows up.
Oh
It's
yeah, and you also got
exciting.
that funny moment where Jerome was like, "Hey, they're Sonic's friends. Let's beat the shit out of them."
Predicting the Sonic fan base, yeah.
Well, and what I love even more is then they have to run for their lives because Sam just comes speeding in with his Formula car racing cars, just riding straight into the crowd. Police brutality, baby. Gotta love it. That's the way to fight crime, just with driving their Formula car right into people.
Here, get lost, you bums, or I'll run you over with my speedy car.
Gotta love psychopathic cops in the military in the Sonic universe. But yeah, geez, speaking of politics, very political episode with, and indeed I'm talking about the poor people not getting their sons and Eggman having to make deals with the president. It's kind of surprising. And that's kind of the frustrating thing about Sonic X. It's kind of like in the middle, like, you think like it's a kid's show, so it's supposed to be about action, so you just want to see Sonic fighting robots. But then you get irritated because there's so many political scenes with humans talking about boring stuff. And now I'm watching this as an adult, and now I find the political stuff way more interesting because it's kind of funny to see how those wacky humans interact with the crazy character from the Sonic universe. But then it never really goes deep enough. You're constantly kind of wondering the details. Like it's not. You always feel like they should go further into that. But yeah, there's a lot of awesome little details. Like indeed, like Melting Man said, there's like even a dog hypnotized, almost turning into an anthro. It seems.
Yeah, it's just this random dog wearing a shirt that's. I didn't know they sold shirts dog size. So.
and I just love Eggman selling T-shirts with himself and hearts on it. That's just awesome.
Oh yeah, very fitting of Eggman.
Like that's exactly what I want to see Eggman doing. That kind of shit, like manipulating people wearing shirts with him.
Yeah, running dodgy businesses and all that.
Yeah.
Man, I really wish the games really did more with Eggman doing this sort of stuff.
I mean, like, if Sonic X was still around today, Eggman would probably be trying to sell NFTs.
Probably, yes. Political stuff. Great.
Yeah. Like, one thing I had noticed, like, the whole scene when Robotnik's trying to, like, tell the president, like, oh, Sonic's causing havoc, you gotta stop him, so... Like, I think the English dub is played more straight, like, oh, calm down, we'll try and take care of it. But then, in the Japanese dub, they actually, like, the president even asked Robotnik, like, well, why can't you stop him with your robots? And then Robotnik comes up with this excuse, like, oh, I'm a good guy now, so I got rid of all my robots, so I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. That was indeed very noticeable. I kind of wonder because that was not even much of a four-wall joke. That was a pretty good excuse, so... I kind of wonder why they changed that in English. Oh well.
Yeah.
I guess they just wanted to speed it up a little bit. But yeah, Sonic and Knuckles get a fight sequence again. I love how they constantly punch each other at the same time.
Yeah.
Kind of equal. What I even love more is they have this move all the time where even though technically Sonic just kicks Knuckles and Knuckles punches him, but they only do it in midair. So first they jump, then they punch, then they land, then they jump again, then they punch again. Like, why don't you just punch on the ground? What does this jumping add to it? I guess this looks cool, but it just makes me laugh all the time that you kind of pointlessly jump. Oh well, I guess I'm easily amused.
Yeah, and when Sonic explained his motive, Knuckles was like, why didn't you tell us that in the first place? And Sonic said, well, no one asked me that first.
Oh yeah, the Japanese version, it's like, well, nobody asked me that. But I think the English dub, they just cut it out and just simply to, well, I thought everybody knew.
What I did appreciate about the Japanese version, even though it's at first frustrating, but yeah, Okay, so this episode has this weird... okay, maybe I'll talk about it later. But I kind of find it funny, like, they asked Sonic for a logical reason why he attacked. And he first starts with these nonsensical reasons. Like, oh, they look ugly, and I can't enjoy my afternoon nap. I find it funny that such a... Like, after all the drama, all the cops are pointing guns at him, and he's still just an asshole like that. Of course, eventually he does come up with a pretty good reason. Like, the American version immediately cuts to the explanation. Like, okay, Eggman is lying because his actual moon has to move because otherwise it doesn't move. It gets in trouble with the orbit of the sun and the moon. But yeah, I found it kind of funny. He's kind of screwing around with them. But yeah, that was one thing I wanted to talk about because that's a big theme in this episode about faith. Because Chris loses faith in Sonic. So that's the whole... big like drama they have to figure out. So there's this scene with where he's talking to Tails and Amy, and he's like, why can't you just blindly trust Sonic? And then Amy says like, well, it's okay because I like Sonic. And then Chris like, yeah, she trusts him because she likes him. I see, that's all that matters. So I like him. So now I'm just gonna blindly agree with everything he does. So there you go, kids. There's your moral of the story. If you like someone, just blindly trust them.
I would have liked it if, for a brief moment, Chris turns against Sonic and how this would affect him.
That would have been very interesting. That's a good point.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, that makes me wonder, because in the end, what they do is just ask Sonic for his reason. Like, he didn't need to trust him. He could have just asked him at any time. I mean, Sonic himself says so. So this whole faith thing is kind of pointless. I guess it's really a Japanese thing. I guess I really love this blind faith. It kind of reminds me of Sonic 06 too with Amy, where she's also kind of like, oh, I don't mind the whole world destroying and everyone dying as long as because I don't want Sonic to get hurt. So my love for Sonic is more important than everyone's well-being. So that's kind of the same thing here.
Yeah, that's what it feels more like in the Japanese version. Like, oh, like Sonic. Well, I really like Sonic too. And then Chris tries to go on a date with Sonic. Like, no, not like that, you idiot. I must confess my love to Sonic because we all know how Chris is like in the Japanese version.
Yep.
Well, it's more blatantly obvious in the Japanese version of Chris having the hots for Sonic.
Yeah,
in
the
some
American
ways,
version
yeah.
keeps it more vague, yeah. But yeah, that was so frustrating from this episode because it's so much like, okay, just ask Sonic why he's doing, but obviously Eggman has some sort of trap. I mean, why is everyone blindly trusting Eggman anyway? But yeah, then they make the whole episode about faith, which I didn't find particularly irrelevant, so that just makes it all funny. Oh well. So, Sonic is our Christ, he's our God, so it's not about logic. Don't never question him, just blindly trust him.
He's Jesus Chuck Norris Hedgehog. Yeah.
Exactly, there you go. He works in complicated ways, so if he's a terrorist and starts killing people, like, don't worry. You like him, so blindly follow him. Following cults is okay, kids. As long as the leader is charismatic enough that you like him. There you go. Speaking about dark politics, huh?
Yeah, follow Sonic the Hedgehog and he will show you the way to the chili dog heaven or
to
whatever.
Pure love, yeah.
But this is not Sonic 2.
Sorry, what? Sonic 2?
Yeah, this is not Sonic 2.
Yeah, none of that Sonic 2 crap, nah.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy. Come on, he's mental issues. Let's not make fun of him.
Alright.
But yeah, he's made very interesting comics. That's true. Yeah. Anything else we want to talk about? I found it kind of funny with the balloon. Like they make like a president balloon, and then Eggman pops it, and that just launches him into the sky. Like, what was a balloon filled with?
I don't know, air.
Yeah, but you see Eggman, the balloon pops, and it just launches him off into the sky, higher than a building. Oh, well, cartoon physics, I guess.
I think it would have been even more funnier if it was like someone else dressed as the president. So it'd be like, oh damn it, I captured his stunt double.
Yeah.
Oh, more
Or if they,
like jokes.
Yeah, or if like instead of like a balloon duplicate of the president, it's just like a bunch of these bombs that are like modeled to look like the president, so that it blows up and that sends robotic flying.
I have to give credit to the animators because I didn't even notice that the president was changed into a balloon. But when you actually rewind and pay attention, you actually do see him being a balloon before Eggman grabs him. Like usually, cartoons don't have that much continuity, or they just kind of swap it when it doesn't matter. But they didn't cheat.
Yeah, I think this is actually one of the few times where Mr. Stewart is actually successful in doing his job with the whole spy mission thing, and not constantly pestering Chris and whatnot.
Well, he got his character character arc during the Sonic Adventure arc, I guess. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Him bonding with the kids. Yeah, that was a nice moment.
Yep. So I guess now he knows what he's doing. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. I guess people who are Topaz Rouge shippers are disappointed because they keep forcing the Topaz loves Tanaka plot.
Oh yeah, Rouge being jealous.
Oh yeah, there's something I do want to point out that that knocking out this very tiny specific antenna on the big egg moon somehow gets it moving.
Yeah.
This little tiny thing.
I guess that inspired Sonic Chronicles opening scene.
Yeah, and then Knuckles saves the day by punching the moon, which actually reminds me of a scene from I don't know which game, but like there's a Donkey Kong game that shows like a cutscene where DK actually like falls from the sky and actually punches the freaking moon.
Okay.
I can't remember what it is. It's
probably
from
it's
like
no different than Knuckles going and flipping a switch.
Yeah. Or like he finds like a giant light bulb switch, like, oh, it's powered up by this light bulb. Yeah. Or if they just do like a Hotel Mario thing.
There's like stationary and move and just.
Yeah. I kinda wish they did like a Hotel Mario bit with that. Yeah. Oh, here's the problem. Too many toasters.
Right.
Yeah, there's the bottles there with the yeah, labels. I think either the labels or the bottles were removed in the English dub, yeah.
I think this shot didn't appear in the English version at all, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, it did appear in the English dub, yeah.
Okay, now I just missed it.
Yeah, because they start like celebrating, which is kind of weird. It's like, oh, they already celebrated New Year's, so why are they doing it again?
Because the sun is here. I guess the sun is New Year.
Ah, yeah. Praise the sun! Yeah.
But yeah, I think we talked pretty much about everything in this episode. Yeah, the quiz scene was
Yeah.
kind of random. Because why is Eggman even bothering with answering? He could have just immediately run away.
Yeah. Although
Oh,
this
well.
is definitely the first time Robotnik has actually been arrested in Sonic X. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, he's finally actually punished.
Yeah. So yeah, and in the English dub, when he's in the bars, he's like, "Ah, let me out of here, you! I'll get you for this." But then, like in the Japanese dub, he's like still very insistent that he's like the main character of the show, so he keeps rambling on about that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that running gag. A little too on the nose. Oh well.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's like very, it's only like skits here and there, and it's usually quick. You know, unlike Sonic Boom, where they really drag out the fourth wall crap.
I guess so. And yeah, and now we start the new story arc where everyone is obsessive with Sonic, I guess. Although that plot already existed before. But, we'll see in later episodes.
Yeah, I think the next ones I think we're entering the Sonic Battle adaptation.
There we go.
Yeah, so if we're doing those episodes for the next live stream, I call dibs on the thumbnail.
Alright, I'll get another 3D thumbnail. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. Luke, you have anything else to say?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything, really.
Yeah.
Only last thing I want to mention is I found it kind of funny how empty the helicopter is when we see Topaz and Rouge helicopter. Kind of pointless detail, I guess, but I just found it kind of amusing. All these chairs and nothing is in it. What a waste. But hey, the government in the Sonic X series loves being wasteful, so there you go.
I mean, I thought one other idea is instead of running a business, he would try to go into politics and run against the president in order to get himself elected.
Yeah, he did try that. Almost had President Eggman. Aw, if only he succeeded. That would be funny.
Yeah. Definitely better than what Sonic Forces tried to do.
Yeah, we never even see Eggman do anything, any world leading in Sonic Force. That's so frustrating.
Somehow he took over the world. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we never get a glimpse of what it looks like. He doesn't wear a different suit. He doesn't have an office. He doesn't hold speeches. He doesn't do anything. Sonic Force is
Yeah.
such a waste. It's so frustrating.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's another discussion. I guess we move on to the manga.
Yes, the manga.
Melting Man's beloved manga. Dash and what? Dash and Diner?
Sonic Dash and Spin. That's what I usually call it.
Sorry. Yes. So, you want to introduce this again? Explain to our viewers what's going on?
Yeah, so yeah, Sonic Dash and Spin mangas, a couple of wacky mangas only released in Japan, and but over the years I've been trying to get them like fully translated, because like on the internet there's some translations, but not every story is translated. So right now I'm happy to announce that I finally have every single story translated, thanks to Pocket Oni. He delivered me the last story translated yesterday, so I'm very excited that I now have every story from both volumes, including the bonus panels, fully translated in English, so now I can finally do a Forgotten Media episode on this book series that I really want to do.
There you
But yeah,
go.
for this live,
You heard it
but for this
first on
live
Sonic
stream,
Dissected channel, everyone. Yes. Premiere.
but yeah, for this live stream, we're only going to focus on one particular story, and that's this one, which is more of a summer themed story.
Smash or be smashed.
Yeah, which involves watermelons.
Of course.
So so the story involves Sonic and the gang just chilling out like in the summertime, and the watermelon is drifting off into the ocean. Like, oh, quick, we gotta grab the watermelon. And then Robotnik shows up in this like weird angel outfit. It's like, oh, which one do you want, the real one or this golden one? And Sonic's like, the real one, idiot. It's like, oh, I thought you want the golden one. So they get ready to participate in this. God, I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically this activity in Japan they do in the summertime where someone gets blindfolded and they have to, like, the other people have to direct them to where the watermelon is and then crack it open with, like, a big stick or bat or whatnot. It's basically Japan's version of playing piñata games. So they go over to try and whack the watermelon, but it turns out, oh, nope, it's actually a rock. So Robotnik's like, okay, here's the one. And he just keeps giving him these, like, duplicate watermelons to the point where Sonic gets so pissed that he just buries Robotnik in the sand and tries to crack him open with the bat. But then Robotnik's like, oh, please don't hurt me. I'm just very lonely. He's like, oh, okay, we'll help you. We'll let you join in this game. And then he suddenly pulls out this giant robot that's like specifically made just for cracking open this watermelon in this game. So he tries to do that, and then it goes into this like, "Ha! I tricked you, Sonics. This robot can only target like whatever the watermelon is, and you have it." So it goes into this like crazy hot potato move, and then Robotnik dumps off like duplicate watermelons, like, "Oh, which is the real one?" And then eventually Sonic just like chucks them into the robot's like, "Hey, cut that out!" And then Robotnik's like, "Oh, hey, I got the real watermelon." And then the bat just bonks him on the head, and it's like, "Ha, you idiot!" But then Robotnik's like, "Oh yeah, well I cracked open the watermelon, so I win." And then it just ends.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
So despite Robotnik constantly getting beaten up in these stories, at least he actually succeeds in the end for this one.
He does win his petty, pathetic little competition. Happy ending. First of all, for you perverts, sadly, Amy's not in her bikini. She's just swimming with her dress on. That doesn't sound smart.
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, why is she in her dress? Like I guess if there was like a blue themed one, that could count. But yeah, it's in black and white, so it's just kind of weird. You think she'd be in more summer gear?
Yeah, important detail I have to bring up for our viewers.
Yeah.
And of course for our melting man, he loves his cute girls. Luke, your opinion about this silly manga? Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. I like the bit where Robotnik dresses up as an angel, like, oh, which something about a golden umbrella, and watermelon, and then he creates this huge watermelon mech, which I thought was very silly looking. I all noticed in the translation they use the word bastard quite a lot, but I thought...
there's a lot of swearing in this particular story, yeah.
Yeah, nice, fun little story there.
I wonder if the angel thing is a reference to some sort of fairy tale or something.
Yeah.
It's probably something Japanese related, yeah.
We don't know about. Oh, well. But yeah, it's a fun, silly, slapstick, straightforward thing. But I absolutely love the ending. That was kind of clever. Like, where every watermelon is like a booby trap, it is a bomb. So indeed, just throwing it to Eggman is the perfect solution. Either it's a bomb so he explodes, or it's a real one, and then there's his own robot hits him. So either way, he always wins. So
I think the way that Robotnik dresses an angel with offering like, was it this watermelon or this gold watermelon? I think that was done in Zelda with, I think in Link to the Past, where if you drop a bomb in a lake, I think a fairy or something appears, and like I think it's like, did you drop this or this other bomb or something, and you get an upgrade about it. It's been a while since I played it, so I don't know like how it exactly plays out.
That could be. I mean, it's in water here too, so I guess the reference could make sense.
Yeah.
Get your Nintendo out of my Sonic, damn it, you bastards!
Though it's kind of funny that like Robotnik dresses up in this angel outfit, and Sonic and the gang like immediately recognize him.
They're smarter here than they are in the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, then again, Sonic and Tails never fell for outfits. Only the bad guys did. They're smarter than a Squash and Grounder. There you go.
Yeah,
that's
like,
much of an accomplishment.
Yeah, I think the only time Robotnik himself disguised himself was in like a few issues of Fleetway Sonic, but I can't remember which issues. Yeah.
Guess we'll figure out soon enough when we get back to it. But we can now, thanks to you, and thanks you and your bastard. See, it's a nice word, bastards. See, I don't blame the manga. I like using that word too.
Yeah. Bastard. Yeah. It's funny, the first time I actually heard of bastard was actually from Young Frankenstein, and funny enough, I actually thought he said basket at first. You slimy, rotten basket! Like, oh no, it's bastard.
Well, in the Netherlands we have bastard suiker, which is like special brown sugar, basically. So I was kind of associated with that. It's like, oh, is this some sort of candy, some sort of sugar? But yeah, it's just satisfying to say, bastard, bastard. Sounds like a punch. Yeah. And what's your opinion about Bastard, Luke?
Oh, I don't know. I remembered, like, I don't remember where I first heard it. It might have been either in school or in South Park, because, like, oh my god, they killed Kenny, you bastards.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody uses the word for what it actually means, being born out of wedlock or something. Nobody.
Yeah, especially like with Game of Thrones, where you like learn about Jon Snow being a bastard and that.
Yeah, Jon Snow's a real bastard. He's killing Kenny all the time.
Them bastards.
You know nothing, Kenny.
Bastards.
Terrible jokes.
One curse word I kind of find amusing or kind of interesting is just twat. Like, I know that's like that's a more common thing in Europe, but it's like, I don't know, I just kind of find it amusing. It's like very different from like the usual curse words.
Well, the weird thing about English curse words is if you don't know what they mean, they sound so cute and innocent, like twat, and it sounds so fun. But it's like, oh, it's actually
Yeah,
vagina.
in
Like,
Britain we sometimes call people a mug or a melt.
Yeah, like
Or a
yeah, I think
melting
over
man.
here.
Yes.
But yeah, I think yeah, twats. Yeah, that's one way of like cursing. Like I'm more familiar with like twit. That's kind of like a more calmer version of twat.
More PG rated, yeah.
Yeah, more PG. Yeah.
But that's the problem with English curse words. They sound so cute and innocent. So you have more rougher words, dudes. Just like bugger. Like it doesn't sound like horrible. It sounds like fun. Bugger
Oh
off.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure where I think the first time I heard that was in Medieval, because like the main villain Zarok actually says that like near the end of the final boss. Like you fight off his warriors, it's like, all right, let's see how you fare against my champion, and then you defeat his champion, and he's like, bugger, right, that's it. I've had just enough of your meddling.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, not much to say about the manga. I love the artwork. It's slapsticky. I like this more than the others because it had more of a cleaner cleaner structure, I think. The other was a little too random and too Japanese. This one had more...
Well, then again, when is a Sonic Dash and Spin manga not too Japanese?
They're super Japanese, yeah. I don't know what to say, but or how to put it. But this one
I
felt a
see.
little more...
I've done a bit of research about what Robotnik offering the two watermelons. It's based on a fairy tale called The Honest Woodcutter, where he dropped his axe into a river, and Hermes returned with a golden axe and said, "Did you lose this?" But the woodcutter says with it not, and stuff happens.
I guess the Zelda thing is also based on a fairy tale then. So both were ripping off a fairy tale.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one, but I definitely know that Japan is really big on fairy tales. I've definitely seen a lot of...
So was Europe too, so...
yeah,
we have a bazillion fairy tales here. Just not America. America doesn't care. Fairy tales are too cynical.
There was stuff about Paul Bunyan and Johnny Appleseed, those sort of stories.
Oh yeah, the more myths and legends, yeah. But at least we have American McGee's Grimm showing us the true darker origins, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course the Grimm brothers' tales themselves. I did read like the Grimm version of Snow White because, interesting enough, it was like a bonus feature on the Platinum Edition to Disney Snow White. And yeah, it's definitely dark. Like the whole deal with like, oh, I know the deal, the Queen's like, oh, bring me Snow White's heart. But I had no idea that in the Grimm version, she actually eats the heart, or supposedly Snow White's heart.
Yep. Fairy tales are rough. Absolutely.
Yeah, these are Grimm versions. Yeah.
Oh well. Then again, all old stories are more intense than what we have now. I mean, the old Greek legends were pretty intense. I mean, if you read the actual story of Hercules, of him killing all his sons and raping his wife.
Oh yeah, killing his wife and children. Yeah, pretty dark.
And also, Hera was the villain.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Because I remember when I watched the Disney version, I was a bit surprised that Hera's not the villain. They decided to make Hades the bad guy because, he's the Lord of the Dead, which makes him evil. But he's actually just doing his job.
Yeah, like
he's usually just neutral.
Yeah, from what I've heard, Hades isn't really much of a bad guy. He's like you said, he's usually neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, the characters who represent the death are always kind of done dirty. I mean, that always kind of annoyed me in an old video of Nostalgia Critic of Last Action Hero when the Grim Reaper escapes from the cinema. Where he's like, oh no, the Grim Reaper escaped, he's going to kill everyone. It's like, wait, the Grim Reaper never kills anyone. He just guides people to the afterlife. He doesn't kill.
Yeah.
We get ourselves killed. We don't need the Grim Reaper's help for that. I mean, South Park also kind of did that, where the Grim Reaper himself is the murderer. It's like, that's not quite how it works. But then again, if a character represents death, then automatically this makes him a bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, Terry Pratchett's death, he can be a little bit of a dick because he tries to convince people to die.
Only in the earlier books, yeah. In
earlier books, and over times he started to mellow out a bit, especially when he got himself a daughter and later on a granddaughter.
What I absolutely love about Discworld's Grim Reaper is his relation with Rincewind. That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Because the Grim Reaper knows exactly when everyone dies because everyone has their own personal, like a little timer. Except the problem with Rincewind is he's chosen by the goddess of luck to be her personal, like little pawn in her game. So he always has ridiculously unrealistic luck. Well, not that Rincewind himself enjoys it because he hates being sent on an adventure all the time, but he survives pretty much everything in the most insane ways. He's sent in time. He's like the planet does a backflip just so he doesn't fall off the side of the planet. All kinds of crazy stuff. But as a result of that, his timer also goes out of whack. So the Grim Reaper literally has no idea when he dies, and Rincewind is the only one with that privilege. So every single time Rincewind gets very stressed, the Grim Reaper just randomly shows up just to check him out. It's like, so especially in a video game, that happens a lot, where every single time you do something dangerous, Grim Reaper just shows up and just has a casual talk.
Yeah, I think I remember reading the beginning of Eric, I think, where, like, Death is just tending to his bees, and you just sit, I think it happened, like, Rincewind just runs past or something.
Yeah, he's suddenly being summoned as a demon, because in the last story he was, like, sent to the underworld or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're not talking about Discworld, so that's maybe for another discussion.
Yeah.
Or Man feels out of place here.
Well, I'm a little familiar with Discworld. I know it's a very European exclusive series. Like, the most I know about it was, like, random clips from, like, one of the animated movies they had where Christopher Lee voiced Death, which is always a plus to have Christopher Lee. But yeah, it's just that, and I know Disney at one point tried to do a film adaptation with Death and his granddaughter, but that
they tried to adapt Mort, but it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, Mort, that's what it was going to be called, yeah.
Oh well. Probably, maybe for the best. Stories are usually
that one...
to translate.
Oh yeah, that one game that you have on screen. Like, I just see that. Like, oh yeah, I'm kind of familiar with that. Mostly because, well, I'm more familiar with like how in the first game there's like this secret pathway or the secret method where you can actually make the main character drop the F-bomb.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, very complex like movement and clicking things, and then you'll just hear Eric Idle saying, "I want to be the first person in a video game to say fuck."
Yeah, I think that's a Monty Python reference because
I think if I recall correct, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think they're originally going to contact John Cleese, I think, as Rincewind or a part in the game, but he told them to fuck off. They're like, fuck off! I don't do video games.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's a shame. Even though John Cleese did do video games, he played in a couple of James Bond video games. No, I think it was a reference to a funeral because at Graham Chapman's funeral, John Cleese made a joke that he wanted to be the first man to say fuck at a funeral. I think that's where the reference comes from.
Yeah, I've seen that clip, yeah. And then here it is in the video game, and yeah, they brought it back in the sequel where there's this other hidden method where the main character meets his past self, and brings up the whole, like, I want to be the first person in a video game to say fuck. Been there, done that. What do you mean? Okay, I want to be the first person in a video game sequel to say fuck.
Indeed.
Good old Eric Idle, yeah.
Wow, that was suddenly randomly talking about Discworld.
Yeah, I mean, the funny bit about Discworld, I was very disappointed they didn't recast Eric Idle as Rincewind in the live-action Colour of Magic series. I mean, David Jason was good, but I don't think he was that good of a fit as Rincewind because he previously played Albert in Hogfather.
That's true, yeah. I guess he was too expensive. But yeah, I kind of like David, but he was a little too old for it. The most frustrating to me was Jeremy Irons as the patrician. Because he's the perfect actor, but then he did like a weird accent and it kind of ruined it.
Yeah, he was good as Vetinari, but it was only there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, that can be helped. I mean, that's the story. In the story, he just doesn't play a big part yet. But, oh well. Good old Discworld. Maybe we'll talk about it in another stream when Melting Man isn't there to be confused. Sorry, Melting Man.
Well, Discworld's always fascinated me because I really want to like try and get into the series, but of course, being American, the series never really got or at least not that well known in American. It's always a Europe thing, yeah. Just like Asterix and Lucky Luke and stuff.
I know it's very popular in Australia too. They even had even full blown cons for it and all that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, mostly there was a really popular fan film I liked where a guy dressed up as Rincewind ended up in modern day Australia, just wandering around, wondering what the hell was going on, and then it ends with him going into a con hall. Then he finds a Discworld book. Then he finds Terry Pratchett sitting there. He sees the image and he puts the hat on him, and he goes, "You bastard!" And he puts the book down and walks out.
That's pretty much the Rincewind thing, yeah. Poor guy, always a victim of fate. Oh well. But yeah, shame it never really got into America. Then again, maybe
Yeah.
better because I don't want to know what a Hollywood adaptation would have done.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I imagine like Disco would have a better job of making it to the U.S. and whatnot, because it's more like I imagine it's more like fantasy adventure kind of thing. But yeah, like as opposed to like Asterix being more like Romanovs and of course the racism back then. Although funny enough, Asterix did eventually get released in America because I just so happen to have a couple of graphic novels that reprint some of the stories. I think there's like about 5 of them that reprint like a handful of them. So at least I can be a little more familiar with Asterix outside of the movies. Yeah.
There you go. And Luke, if anyone wants to read Discworld, which book would you recommend?
Well, there's definitely The Color of Magic and the Light Fantastic, because those books introduce you to the world of Discworld as you follow the adventures of Rincewind and Twoflower exploring the discs and the world beyond. Of course, there's also Mort, which is one of my all-time favourite Discworld books, and you can also read the sequel books which follows Death's family, like Soul Music and Hogfather.
So it's mostly the old ones you like. I find the old ones very chaotic. I think after Guards, Terry Pratchett more found his groove. But yeah, Color of Magic even has a movie from Sky One, so you can watch that, or like a miniseries. My personal choice is Going Postal. I love that one. It's like epic postman. It's like, what if in a Lord of the Rings style world, your main character is starting a post business, or at least has to take over one.
What are your thoughts on the live action adaptation?
I found it a little too dry. I mean, it's a very faithful adaptation, but as a result, it feels kind of dry. I felt like it needed more sense of adventure to it.
Okay.
Generally, it was nice. It was a good movie. But yeah, I think we talked enough Discworld for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say, Melty Man?
Well, since the captain's not here and how he loves to talk about Sonic Speed Simulator, I guess I'll have to fill in for him, despite not playing that game. But I am familiar with the new content that's come out recently. So, well, like the one that really took me by surprise is that in one event was they brought back the whole Metal Madness event, and surprisingly, they decided to bring back Metal Sonic 3.0. Yeah, a one and done character from Sonic Rivals 2. So that was pretty cool to see him come back again, but of course, knowing some people on the internet, they immediately mistook him for Shard, the original Metal Sonic from Archie Sonic, and I'm just kind of like, no, people, Metal Sonic 3.0 is not Shard. It's the other way around.
Indeed.
Yeah, and then I think for today's update, they had like this Tails themed one. So like we have Tails in this aviator outfit, and apparently you can also unlock the tornado, so you can like have him flying around with that. Though it's the classic tornado, which of course, knowing me, I always wish it was the adventure style tornado.
Yeah,
oh well, maybe it'll happen in a future update.
Who knows? I kind of hope they put more zones in it than aren't from the classic series. I'm still frustrated they have like 4 zones based on Green Hill Zone. Like, come on. That is one is annoying enough, but why so many? And then the levels that are in Green Hill Zone are like an empty snowfield. Like the only interesting zone is Chemical Plant Zone. And even that one is already overused in the game.
Well, wasn't Hilltop Zone added to the game?
Yeah, but it still has a kind of Green Hill Zone to fight. But yeah, it's different, that's true. It's probably the more interesting one now.
Yeah, well, I imagine it has lava, which is what Green Hill Zone doesn't have.
It should, so it burns
lava,
to the ground.
Clouds, mountains, those robot dinosaur things that come out of the lava, yeah.
And a lot of the rail tracks, those are fun. But yeah, I'm not playing Speed Simulator too much anymore.
Yeah, so. I still haven't gotten around to that. It's mostly just because I have no idea what Roblox is. Because like back then, Roblox just really didn't interest me. It just kind of looked like like a real low-budget, cheap version of Minecraft, which I'm more into Minecraft than that. But then, like, Sonic Speed Simulator is like, oh, there's, like, actual designs based on the characters and locations, and they're actually doing stuff that Sega's too scared to bring back, so that does kind of interest me. I just have to figure out how the hell this Roblox thing works.
Yeah, I kind of missed out on Roblox, too. It's confusing to me, too. But yeah, you go to a website, it has, like, a lot of pre-made fan games, and... Like, you download Roblox as an app, and then it just loads from the website whatever mod you want to play. Now you get, I guess, a version of Roblox that has all that custom content into it. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how it works either. I only played it for Sonic Speed Simulator. But I need to stop playing that game. It's very addictive. It feels very empty, so I can't always feel bad about playing it. It's like a mobile phone game, you know? It's like you're constantly leveling up and collecting stuff and being obsessed by getting better and better and better. Even though you're constantly doing this super monotonous stuff, you're not really going anywhere. So you have to punch your brain out of its confusion, or you're so in this trance, like, oh, I have to get better and better, more levels. And just slap yourself across the face, and what am I doing? I'm not even getting anywhere. So just drag you out of your game.
Well, I imagine there's like no time limit or anything for. Like,
no, you can't go on forever. I mean, at least it doesn't. You don't need to pay money for anything. I mean, you can pay money to speed things up, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't bother with that.
It's still, it's a time waster, and I have too much things to do to waste my time on that.
Yeah, because I know like the MOP Game Loft game I have on my phone that has like that kind of thing, like, oh, you know, building houses and mini games, or like, you know, spend gems to speed things up. It's like, no, I'm saving that for like more important stuff. I can play just, you know, ranking in the bits and gems like over time. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that ends our stream this time. Unless Luke has something else he wants to say.
No, I haven't got much to say. Just that tomorrow I'll be uploading my Doctor Who Time Fracture video, so there's something to look forward to.
More content coming. That's always good.
Yeah. And I guess I'll be, I don't know, either posting more Grimm voice clips. So far, I've already gotten the main Grimm lines down. Next will be all the fairy tale characters that appear in the game. So that'll be fun, because with how Roger L. Jackson voices everyone, it's going to be fun hearing him doing these different voice ranges. Like in like the fisherman and his wife. Like, oh yeah, he voices the fisherman, and then he voices the wife. And there's like this real funny bit, like, the whole deal is that the fisherman finds this magical fish, and since they're poor, he like grants the wish, like, oh, you know, become rich. And then the wife wants to be like, oh, I want to be pope, and then she becomes pope. So in the game, when she becomes that in like the good version, she's like, and I bless you all and forgive you, everyone, except those who owe me money. Pay up and nobody gets hurt. It's just hilarious, just hearing all these different voices from Roger L. Jackson. Really shows how talented he is, which I don't see much of that in other stuff. I know he does like Mojo Jojo or more deeper characters.
So he really
but, like,
does all voices?
Yeah, in Grimm, yeah, he does everyone in the game. Yeah.
Sometimes it's
I'm sorry to interject. When I was a kid, there was this TV show I used to watch called Grim Tales, which was presented by the late Rick Mile, where he tells the tales of grim fairy tales, and he does his very exaggerated way, accompanied by little animated sequences. It's a series that you might feel worth checking out. It has that same kind of grimness probably in the game.
All right, sure. But yeah, I remember with Conker's Bad Fur, they also had one voice actor doing most of the voice, and it kind of annoys me because with most voices, he kind of talks very annoying. Like, I mean, most characters are supposed to be drunk, so I guess it makes sense. But just, I don't know, I didn't like that. It's just really annoying to me. But yeah, I guess Roger doesn't do that in Grimm.
Yeah. There might be some episodes you might hear the same voice, but then again, the game recycles a lot of the same models for like generic character. Like, oh, we need a father character or a king character. Like, seriously, there's like this model of like this like thin king character that they use for like the the parent figure or the bad guy or whatnot, and they reuse it so many times, even though there's like two other different king models. But yeah, I guess they just love the thin king model.
Fair enough. But yeah, now we're off on a tangent yet again. Time to shut us up. So, Melting Man, bye-bye. Thanks for joining again. Luke, thanks for joining again. Good luck with finishing your video.
Okay,
and yeah, it's going to be hot the next couple days too, so good luck with that.
Oh, no.
Drink lots of water.
Have a nice swim if you have the capability. And
drink chocolate milk.
Yeah, drink chocolate milk.
Yeah, isn't really that refreshing milk? I thought it was more like too thick to be helpful for thirst.
I think chocolate milk is
it's like
nice.
Yeah, it's cold enough. Yeah,
it's been hydrating enough. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it's like especially when it's frozen, then you can get ice cream. Yeah.
Or milkshake if it's hot enough.
Oh yeah, milkshakes. Yeah.
Well, the frozen milk, chocolate milk immediately melts.
Yeah. But, let's go out for some frosty chocolate milkshakes.
And a Simpson reference. Well, we made our references this stream. Well, everyone, see ya.
Goodbye.
Cheerio. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Luke. Thanks for joining.
See ya.